I'm so sorry to distract you, but I tried very hard to create this video. Watch till the end and enjoy.
The cold mud presses against my broken and bloody face. I taste the bitter iron of my own blood on my dry lips. Pain shoots through my ribs like a burning steel spike. I can hear their cruel laughter fading into the woods. They left me here to die in the dirt like a stray dog. The heavy autumn rain begins to wash away my fresh blood. My body is numb from the brutal magic attacks I suffered. I cannot move my fingers or my shattered right shoulder. Every single breath feels like swallowing broken pieces. I stare at the dark gray clouds gathering in the sky above. My past life was a miserable joke, played by cruel fate. I was a brilliant engineer trapped in a failing weak body. A rare disease locked my genius mind in a soft, fleshy cage. I spent 30 years staring at a pale hospital ceiling. I designed advanced mining drones using only my tired eyes. I dreamed of building vast cities of chrome and cold steel. I wanted to conquer the stars with my beautiful machines. Then, my weak heart finally gave out in the quiet, dark room. I expected the cold void of death to claim me forevermore. Instead, I woke up in this brutal world of dark magic power. I became Kale, the worthless orphan of a ruined old village. For 3 long years, I suffered under the whip of the Lord. They treated me far worse than the beasts in their stables. I scrubbed their stone floors until my bare fingers bled. I carried heavy rocks until my spine felt ready to snap. Every day was a fresh hell of insults and sudden hard blows. The noble mages looked at me like I was literal dirty trash. They wear fancy robes and wave their glowing magic staffs. They think they are gods because they can throw fireballs. Today was the absolute worst day of my miserable new life. Young Master Vane decided to test his new earth magic art. He is a fat and arrogant pig with 0 actual magic talent. He used my fragile body as a target for his stone darts. His fat face twisted into an ugly sneer as I fell down. His stupid noble friends cheered as he broke my collarbone. They kicked me into this ditch and left me for the rats. I clenched my fists in the wet soil and cursed their names. I refused to die like a pathetic worm in this dark, cold hole. I demand a second chance from whatever dark god brought me. I will not let my brilliant mind rot inside this weak shell. A strange blue light suddenly flashes behind my closed eyes. A crisp, mechanical sound echoes deep inside my aching skull. System initialization complete across all neural pathways. Host genetic signature verified as optimal for the link. Welcome to the Techno Druid Core Management User Interface. I blink my swollen eyes and stare at the floating blue text. The glowing letters hang in the air right before my face. I try to wave my hand, but the screen remains quite still. This is not a hallucination born from my severe head trauma. This is the golden ticket I have waited for all my life. I focus my sharp mind on the glowing blue text right now. A new window pops up with a soft and pleasing hum sound. Class acquired is the legendary Metal Growth Specialist. Passive skill activated is called the Iron Sense Aura. Active skill unlocked is the basic Ferrous Extraction. I feel a sudden rush of cold energy flowing into my brain. The terrible pain in my broken ribs begins to fade away. My vision shifts and the dark forest around me changes. I can see faint glowing veins running through the earth. The dirt is no longer just a pile of dead and brown matter. It is a rich canvas of raw elements waiting for my command. I can sense tiny flakes of pure iron resting in the mud. I can feel the sleeping copper deep beneath the old roots. I am no longer a blind victim in this magical wasteland. I am a master engineer holding the ultimate building tool. I slowly push myself up onto my bruised and shaking knees. The cold autumn wind bites at my torn and bloody rags. I spit a glob of dark blood onto the dead yellow leaves. I need to test this new power before my enemies return. I place my bare hands flat against the damp forest floor. I close my eyes and reach out with my newly awakened mind. I command the scattered iron particles to gather together. The earth beneath my palms begins to vibrate very softly. I feel a sharp pulling sensation right inside my chest. Mana drains from my core like water flowing down a pipe. The dirt shifts and cracks open right between my fingers. A tiny silver sprout pushes its way out of the dark soil. It is not a soft green plant born from water and sunlight. It is a sharp metallic root made of pure and solid iron. I stare at the shining metal with wide and greedy eyes. I have just created solid matter out of simple wet dirt. The druids of this world spend years growing a single oak. They sing stupid songs to the trees and beg for their aid. I do not need to beg the forces of nature for any favors. I will force the world to bend to my cold logical will. I feed more of my strange new mana into the little sprout. The iron root thickens and branches out across the soil. It twists and turns like a living snake made of steel. I smile as I realize the true potential of my new system. I can build weapons directly from the ground beneath me. I hear the loud crunch of heavy boots on the gravel path. My sharp ears catch the sound of familiar cruel voices. Vayne and his ugly guards are coming back to check on me. They probably want to bury my body to hide their crime. Or maybe they just want to spit on my corpse for fun. I quickly pull my hands away from the glowing iron root. I command the metal to sink back down beneath the mud. The earth swallows my creation, leaving no visible trace. I collapse back into my miserable pose in the wet dirt. I close my eyes and slow my breathing to a faint whisper. I need them to think I am still a helpless, broken toy. The bushes rustle loudly as 3 heavy figures step out. Master Vayne stands there wearing his fancy silk robes. He holds a glowing staff tipped with a green gemstone. 2 large guards stand right behind him with drawn swords. They look like stupid apes dressed in cheap leather armor. Vayne kicks my ribs with the hard toe of his leather boot. I let out a weak groan and pretend to cough up more blood. Look at this pathetic piece of trash lying in the mud. Vayne laughs and pokes my shoulder with his wooden staff. I thought my stone dart had crushed his weak little skull. He is tougher than he looks. My lord, says the fat guard, we should just slit his throat and toss him in the river. Vayne shakes his head and smiles with pure wicked malice. No, I want to use him for my next magic practice session. Drag him back to the cellar and chain him to the far wall. I will slowly crush his bones one by one until he breaks. I listen to his sick words and feel a cold rage building. This arrogant fool thinks he holds my life in his hands. He thinks magic is the only true power in this universe. He knows absolutely nothing about the laws of physics. He has never seen the terrifying beauty of a machine gun. I slowly open my eyes and look up at his fat, ugly face. I let a crazy and bloody smile stretch across my lips. Vayne steps back in sudden shock at my strange expression. What are you smiling at, you worthless little slave rat? He raises his magic staff to strike my face once again. I do not give him the chance to complete his attack. I slam both of my hands flat against the wet, cold earth. I dump every single drop of my mana into the dark soil. System override activated for rapid defensive extraction. The ground beneath Vayne and his guards suddenly explodes. Thick spikes of solid iron shoot up from the dirt path. They move with the brutal speed of industrial pistons. The fat guard screams as a metal rod pierces his left leg. Blood sprays across the green leaves in a bright red arc. The second guard tries to swing his cheap iron sword. A metallic vine wraps tightly around his thick right wrist. It crushes his bones with the force of a hydraulic press. His sword drops to the ground with a dull, heavy thud. Vayne stumbles backward and drops his glowing magic staff. His arrogant face is now pale and twisted with pure terror. What kind of dark magic is this? He screams in sheer panic. He tries to cast a simple earth shield to protect himself. He mutters the ancient words and waves his shaking hands. A weak wall of dirt rises up to block my line of sight. I simply laugh at his pathetic attempt to stop my power. My metal roots ignore his silly and weak dirt wall. I send a mental command to the iron network underground. 4 sharp steel cables burst through his magical barrier. They wrap around his arms and legs like heavy metal snakes. They lift him off the ground and hold him up in the air. He dangles there like a helpless puppet on steel strings. I slowly stand up and wipe the wet blood from my chin. My broken ribs are fully healed by the system energy. I walk towards the suspended noble with slow, heavy steps. The 2 guards are bleeding out on the grass behind him. They moan in pain, but they cannot move their trapped limbs. Vayne looks down at me with wide and terrified ugly eyes. Please do not kill me, he begs in a high and shaking voice. I will give you gold and freedom if you just let me go. I reach out and tap the cold steel cable holding his neck. You used me as target practice for 3 miserable years. You treated me like a broken toy that you could just toss. Now you want to buy your pathetic life with shiny coins. I shake my head and let out a cold and emotionless sigh. Your gold is completely worthless to a master of metal. I can pull infinite wealth right out of the dirty ground. I clench my fist and the steel cables tighten around him. He gasps for air as the metal squeezes his soft, weak body. I want him to feel the exact same fear that I felt today. I want him to know that he is nothing but fragile meat. The system interface chimes with a new and pleasant sound. Combat victory achieved against 3 hostile local units. Experience points gathered from the defeated weak enemies. Host has reached level 2 in the Techno Druid core path. New blueprint unlocked for basic automated defense turret. I read the blue text and feel a massive surge of pure joy. I can already build automated turrets in this magic world. These stupid mages are going to face a modern war machine. I look past the dangling noble and stare into the dark wood. I can sense a faint magical presence hiding in the shadows. My iron sense aura picks up a small silver dagger nearby. Someone is watching us from behind that large oak tree. Come out before I drag you out with my metal roots, I say. The bushes part, and a young girl steps into the pale light. She wears a dark cloak that hides her noble family crest. Her long silver hair shines brightly in the dim forest air. Her cold blue eyes study the heavy steel spikes around me. She is not scared by the brutal scene of bloody violence. She looks at me with a strange mix of deep awe and respect. I know her face from my days of cleaning the Grand Castle. She is Ilara, the outcast daughter of the High Fire Lord. She is a brilliant scholar who hates the old rigid rules. You are not using regular earth magic, she says very softly. You are shaping pure metal without a single heating forge. That is physically impossible according to all known laws. I smile and let the steel cables drop Vayne into the mud. He hits the ground hard and passes out from the pure fear. The laws of this primitive world no longer apply to me. I am going to rewrite every single rule with iron and fire. Ilara steps closer and looks at the smooth metal surfaces. She reaches out and gently touches a cold steel vine. Her fingers trace the perfect mechanical joints I created. I can see the burning fire of pure curiosity in her eyes. She is not like the other arrogant nobles of this bad land. She values true knowledge over stupid magical traditions. I could use a smart ally who knows the layout of the city. Suddenly, a loud magical siren echoes through the dark night. Red warning lights flash in the sky above the noble estate. The magical barrier around the hunting grounds is now broken. My rapid extraction of metal must have triggered the alarms. Elite castle guards will be here in less than 5 minutes. They will bring high-level battle mages to hunt me down. I am only level 2 and my mana reserves are almost empty. I cannot fight an entire army of trained magic users yet. Ilara looks at the red sky and then looks back at my face. They will kill you if they find you here, she says quickly. Follow me if you want to live to build another metal tree. I look at the unconscious Vayne and the bleeding fat guards. I have won my very first battle in this cruel magic world. I have tasted the sweet and metallic flavor of true power. But I am still a weak and wanted slave in their blind eyes. I nod my head and follow the silver-haired girl in the dark. My journey to build a grand machine empire has just begun. I walk fast and keep my eyes on her glowing silver hair. The dark forest is full of twisted roots and sharp stones. My bare feet bleed as I step over the broken tree branches. I do not care about the physical pain of my weak new body. The system interface pulses quietly in my peripheral vision. I open the skill menu while running through the cold night. Basic ferrous extraction has leveled up to rank 2 now. I can pull heavier metals from deeper within the dark earth. I can shape them into more complex and deadly mechanisms. The blueprint for the automated defense turret is glowing. It requires a large amount of raw iron and refined copper. I scan the ground beneath my feet as we run very quickly. My iron sense aura acts like a powerful military radar. I see pockets of rich ore buried deep under the wet moss. I memorize their exact locations for my future mining plans. Ilara stops suddenly near a tall wall of solid gray stone. This is the old forgotten servant exit, she whispers softly. The magical lock has been broken for over 50 long years. She pushes against the heavy stone door with both her hands. It grinds open with a loud and terrible scraping noise. We slip through the narrow gap just as the guards arrive. I hear the angry shouts of the battle mages in the forest. They found Vayne and the bloody metal spikes I left behind. They are screaming about a dark demon loose in the woods. I smile as the heavy stone door closes shut behind my back. Let them fear the unknown monster lurking in the shadows. They have absolutely no idea what is truly coming for them. I am going to tear down their magical society, piece by piece. I am going to replace their wooden wands with steel rifles. Ilara leads me down a dark and damp underground tunnel. The air smells like old mold and forgotten rat corpses. Where are we going? I ask her in a low and raspy voice. My secret laboratory hidden below the city, she replies back. It is the only place where the high mages cannot find you. I nod and follow her deeper into the black underground maze. My mind is already designing my very first metal fortress. I will need to set up a continuous mining operation soon. I will need to build tiny drone spiders to gather resources. The system hums in agreement with my dark mechanical plans. I am the Techno Druid, and this magic world is my new forge. We walk deeper into the dark and smelly stone tunnels. Ilara holds a small glowing crystal in her right hand. The blue light casts long shadows on the wet old walls. I ignore the sharp pain in my bleeding and broken feet. My mana slowly regenerates in the cold underground air. The system interface floats quietly in my direct vision. I check my current stats and plan my next upgrade path. My iron sense aura scans the thick rocks all around us. I can feel massive veins of pure copper hidden nearby. This abandoned cave is a perfect gold mine for my needs. Ilara stops in front of a massive rusty iron vault door. She pushes a hidden stone brick on the dirty left wall. Heavy gears grind loudly inside the ancient stone frame. The heavy metal door slowly opens with a terrible groan. We step inside a massive circular room filled with dust. Old wooden tables are covered in strange magical books. Broken glass vials litter the cold and dirty stone floor. "This is my secret sanctuary," she says in a very low voice. "My father thinks I spend my time reading stupid poetry. He does not know I study the forbidden ancient sciences." I look around the room and smile at the chaotic mess. "You have a brilliant mind hidden behind that pretty face." She blushes slightly and looks away from my intense gaze. I walk towards a large pile of rusty metal scrap parts. My hands hover over the broken swords and dented shields. I need to build my resource-gathering drones right now. I channel my fresh mana into the pile of useless junk. The system responds with a pleasant and soft blue glow. Basic ferrous extraction begins to melt the old weapons. The rust flakes off and reveals shining liquid steel. Ilara gasps loudly and steps closer to watch my magic. "You are melting solid iron without a single hot flame." She whispers in pure awe as the metal floats in the air. I shape the liquid steel into 8 tiny spider bodies. I extract pure copper from the cave wall to make wires. The copper threads weave through the tiny steel spiders. I create basic mechanical joints and simple gearboxes. The system interface chimes with a happy success sound. 8 basic worker drones have been successfully forged. The tiny metal spiders drop onto the floor with a clink. They stand on 8 sharp legs and wait for my command. I send a mental order to begin mining the copper veins. The spiders scatter and climb up the dark rocky walls. They use tiny buzzsaws to cut into the solid hard stone. Ilara watches them work with wide and fascinated eyes. This is true engineering and not some silly magic trick. I sit down on an old wooden chair and take a deep breath. My body is still weak from years of terrible starvation. I need proper food and rest to heal this fragile shell. Ilara opens a wooden crate and pulls out some dried meat. She hands me the food and a leather flask of fresh water. "Eat this and tell me how you created those metal beasts." I chew the tough meat and drink the cold, sweet water. I am a Techno Druid and I command the elements of metal. I do not borrow power from the spirits of the old forest. I force the raw matter to obey the strict laws of physics. She listens closely and nods her beautiful silver head. The high mages would burn you alive for speaking like this. They fear anything that challenges their absolute control. I swallow my food and give her a cold and dangerous smile. They can try to burn me, but they will only melt my iron. And melted iron is much easier to shape into sharp blades. A sudden loud noise echoes from the dark tunnel outside. Someone is smashing the old stone door with heavy magic. Ilara jumps up and grabs a small silver dagger in panic. My father must have sent his elite bloodhounds after us. They can track the scent of fresh blood across the city. I look down at my bare feet and see the red, bloody trail. I left a perfect map leading them straight to our base. I curse my own stupid mistake and stand up from the chair. "How many guards are in an elite tracking squad?" I ask her. "Usually 5 mages and 1 heavy armored knight," she says. I check my system interface and look at my mana reserves. My mana is only half full, but my worker drones are busy. They have gathered a large pile of pure iron and copper. I have enough raw materials to build my first real gun. I walk over to the pile of refined metal on the floor. I place both hands on the cold steel and focus my mind. Blueprint activated for the automated defense turret now. The metal twists and folds under my heavy mental command. A thick iron barrel forms in the center of the dark room. Copper coils wrap tightly around the long steel cylinder. I am building a basic magnetic railgun to kill the mages. The system drains my mana to fuse the complex solid parts. Heavy iron tripod legs bolt themselves into the stone floor. The turret powers up with a low and terrifying electric hum. Ilara covers her ears as the machine vibrates with power. "What is that metal monster?" she asks in a shaking voice. "That is the end of their magical superiority," I tell her. The heavy vault door explodes inward with a massive bang. Thick smoke and dust fill the entrance of our secret room. 5 men in red robes step through the ruined stone frame. A giant knight in black steel armor walks right behind them. He carries a massive glowing battle axe in his right hand. The lead mage points his wooden staff at my dirty face. "There is the little slave rat who hurt Master Vane today. Kill him slowly and capture the traitor princess alive." The mages begin to chant their stupid magic spell words. Fireballs form in the air above their arrogant, ugly heads. They think they have already won this simple little fight. They do not even look at the metal turret sitting nearby. I send a rapid mental command to my new defense system. Target the magic users and fire at maximum lethal speed. The copper coils glow with a bright and blinding blue light. A loud crack echoes through the room like a thunderclap. A solid iron slug flies out of the barrel at Mach speed. It hits the lead mage right in the center of his chest. His magical shield shatters like thin and fragile glass. The heavy slug tears through his body and hits the wall. He drops to the floor before he can even scream in pain. The other mages stop their chanting in pure, absolute shock. They look at the bloody hole in their dead leader now. The turret auto-reloads and fires a second heavy iron slug. Another arrogant mage loses his head in a spray of red. This is the brutal reality of kinetic energy and pure mass. Your silly little fireballs cannot stop a speeding bullet. The remaining 3 mages panic and try to run away fast. The Black Knight steps forward and raises his glowing axe. "Cowards!" he yells and charges directly at my metal turret. His armor is enchanted to deflect physical weapon attacks. The turret fires a third slug right at his heavy helmet. The iron bullet bounces off his magical shield with a ping. He laughs and swings his massive axe at the copper coils. I cannot let him destroy my only heavy defensive weapon. I dive across the dusty floor and grab his armored leg. I push my remaining mana into his enchanted black armor. His suit is made of steel, and that makes it my domain. I command the metal plates to fuse together right now. The joints in his knees and elbows weld completely shut. He freezes in place like a heavy and stupid metal statue. He tries to move, but the solid steel refuses to bend now. "What kind of demon trick is this?" he roars in blind anger. I stand up and wipe the thick gray dust from my dirty face. "You are wearing a metal cage and fighting a metal master. You are the dumbest knight in the history of this world." I command his chestplate to slowly crush his ribcage. He gasps for air as the heavy steel squeezes his lungs. The 3 surviving mages shoot fireballs at my back. I raise my right hand and pull iron from the stone floor. A thick steel wall rises up and blocks the hot red flames. The fire warms the metal, but it does not melt my shield. I drop the wall and look at the terrified magic users. My worker spiders drop from the ceiling onto their heads. The tiny drones use their buzzsaws on the soft red robes. The mages scream and try to pull the metal bugs away. The spiders inject a mild paralyzing toxin into their skin. I synthesize the poison from a strange glowing cave moss. The mages fall to the floor and twitch in helpless panic. The battle is over, and I am the undisputed clear winner. System interface chimes with multiple victory messages. Massive experience gained from defeating elite enemies. Host has reached level 3 in the core techno path. New blueprint unlocked for basic kinetic energy shield. I smile and dismiss the glowing blue text from my view. Ilara steps out from behind a large wooden broken desk. She looks at the dead bodies and the trapped giant knight. "You just defeated an elite strike team in 2 minutes. She sounds completely amazed and slightly terrified now. "I told you that their magic is weak and highly flawed." I walk over to the trapped knight and look into his eyes. He glares at me through the narrow slit in his helmet. "The High Lord will crush you like a bug," he spits at me. I shake my head and tap his solid steel chestplate. "Tell your High Lord that the age of magic is now over. Tell him the age of the machine has finally begun today." I release the pressure on his chest and open his joints. I want him to run back and deliver my warning message. The knight stumbles backward and drops his heavy axe. He turns around and runs away like a beaten stray dog. I let him go because I need them to feel true, real fear. Ilara looks at me with a very serious and worried frown. "You should have killed him to keep our location secret. Now, my father will send an entire army to destroy us." I nod my head and look at my busy little worker drones. Let them come with their armies and their silly magic. We are going to turn this cave into a heavy fortress. I need you to map out every single tunnel in this base. We need choke points and kill zones for my new turrets. Ilara smiles and pulls a large rolled map from a shelf. I already know every secret path in this entire city. She spreads the map on a table and points to a red mark. There is an old underground river flowing just below us. We can use the rushing water to generate massive power. I stare at her and feel a deep sense of true admiration. "You are the perfect partner for my grand metal empire." She blushes again and focuses her eyes on the old map. We spend the next 5 hours planning our deep defenses. My worker drones mine tons of raw iron and pure copper. I build 3 more automated turrets to guard the door. I forge heavy steel barricades to block the main halls. My mana pool grows larger with every single level up. I can feel the metal responding faster to my commands. We hear a strange scraping noise from the dark far wall. One of my worker drones has broken through a solid rock. A massive hidden chamber is revealed behind the stone. I walk over and look through the newly created tiny hole. Glowing green crystals light up the massive secret room. It is a natural mana crystal cavern untouched by humans. Ilara gasps and grabs my arm with her soft, warm hands. Those crystals contain pure, concentrated magic energy. A single stone is worth more than a noble family castle. I smile as my system interface scans the green crystals. Optimal power source detected for advanced heavy mechs. I can use these stones to power my future robot army. Suddenly, a massive shadow moves inside the crystal cave. A giant mutated blind worm slithers out of the deep dark. It is covered in thick gray scales and sharp bone spikes. It opens a huge, circular mouth filled with razor teeth. The beast roars and the sound shakes the entire cavern. My worker drones scatter to avoid its heavy crushing tail. This cave belongs to a high-level monster of the deep. Ilara pulls me back away from the dangerous large hole. That is a rock crusher worm, and it eats solid stone. It is completely immune to all known forms of magic. I look at the giant beast and feel a rush of excitement. It may be immune to magic, but it is not immune to steel. I need those power crystals to build my grand new city. I step forward and place my hands on the rocky ground. I'm going to hunt this giant worm and take its home. The giant worm smashes its head against the cave wall. Huge chunks of stone fall down and crush my tiny drones. I quickly pull my remaining metal spiders back to safety. I cannot afford to lose my only resource-gathering tools. The beast smells our fresh scent and turns its blind head. It opens its massive jaw and spits a stream of green acid. I raise a thick steel shield to block the deadly liquid. The acid hits the metal and hisses with a toxic white gas. The steel begins to melt under the extreme chemical heat. I drop the ruined shield and step back from the toxic cloud. We need to lure it out into the main trap room right now. Ilara nods and runs toward the heavy metal barricades. I grab a sharp iron spear and throw it at the giant worm. The spear bounces off its thick gray scales harmlessly, but the loud noise gets the angry attention of the beast. It slithers through the hole and enters our main room. The ground shakes violently under its massive heavy weight. I run behind the 3 automated turrets I built earlier. The worm charges forward with blind and reckless fury. Fire all weapons at the center mass of the giant target. The 3 railguns hum loudly and fire their iron slugs. 3 heavy bullets hit the worm in its thick gray chest. The kinetic force pushes the massive beast backward fast. Green blood sprays across the dusty and cold stone floor. The monster screams in pain and thrashes its heavy tail. It smashes one of my turrets into a pile of useless scrap. I curse loudly and channel my mana into the broken parts. I cannot repair the complex coils during a chaotic fight. I melt the broken turret and form a massive iron spike. The worm lunges at me with its jaws completely wide open. I trigger the metal trap hidden beneath the stone floor. 4 heavy steel cables wrap around its thick, slimy neck. The cables are anchored deep into the solid rock below. The beast jerks forward and the steel wires pull tight. It chokes and spits more green acid blindly into the air. I grab the massive iron spike with both of my bare hands. I run forward and slide under its snapping razor teeth. I drive the heavy spike directly into its soft underbelly. The metal pierces its flesh and hits a vital inner organ. Hot green blood pours out and burns my torn, dirty clothes. I ignore the burning pain and push the spike deeper in. The giant worm shudders violently and collapses entirely. Its massive head hits the floor with a loud, heavy thud. The beast is finally dead, and the cave is totally quiet. System interface chimes with a bright, golden, glowing text. Boss class monster defeated by host in direct, brutal combat. Massive experience bonus awarded for solo boss elimination. Host has reached level 4 in the main Techno Druid path. New passive skill unlocked called Heavy Armor Integration. I fall onto my back and breathe heavily in the dusty air. Ilara runs over to me and checks my acid-burned shoulders. "You are completely insane," she whispers with a tired smile. "You just killed a legendary beast with a sharp metal stick. I used physics and leverage to beat its dumb brute force." I sit up and look at the massive pile of dead monster meat. We need to harvest the useful parts before they rot away. The scales can be used to craft acid-resistant armor suits. I command my tiny spiders to begin cutting the huge corpse. Ilara walks into the newly opened glowing crystal cavern. She touches a large green stone and smiles very brightly. There is enough raw mana here to power a whole new city. "We are going to be incredibly rich," she says with pure joy. I shake my head and walk into the glowing magical cavern. We are not going to sell these crystals to the high mages. We are going to use them to build our own hidden empire. I place my hand on the largest green crystal in the room. System absorb the raw energy and convert it to core power. The green crystal turns dull gray and crumbles into dust. A massive surge of pure energy flows into my nervous system. My mana pool expands to 10 times its previous maximum size. I can now shape heavy metals like tungsten and pure gold. I look at Ilara and see her staring at me in total wonder. "You absorbed the pure mana directly into your physical body. That should have caused your heart to explode instantly. My body is reinforced by the system and my metal magic. I am no longer a fragile human easily broken by the world. I am becoming something entirely new and far more deadly." We spend the next 3 days building our new hidden base. I create a massive water wheel in the underground river. It generates endless mechanical power for my new machines. I build a forge to melt the heavy metals I extract daily. Ilara organizes the ancient books and magic crystal shards. She finds a way to combine magic runes with my cold steel. We create a hybrid armor suit that resists fire and acid. I craft a beautiful steel necklace for my brilliant partner. It has a tiny glowing green crystal set right in the center. She wears it proudly and smiles every time she looks at me. Our bond grows stronger as we work together in the dark. She is the perfect queen for the metal empire I am building. But our peaceful progress is suddenly interrupted once more. One of my tiny scout spiders returns from the upper sewers. It plugs into my main console and downloads its visual data. I project the recorded image onto a flat white stone wall. The image shows a massive army gathering in the city square. High Lord Vane, the father of the boy I humiliated, is there. He stands on a wooden stage and shouts to the angry crowd. The escaped slave, Kale, is a demon who uses forbidden magic. He has kidnapped my beautiful daughter, Elara, in the night. I offer a huge gold bounty to anyone who brings his head. The crowd cheers loudly and raises their weapons in the air. Elara watches the projection and frowns in deep, quiet anger. He is lying to them to cover up his own massive failures. He knows I left willingly because I hate his cruel methods. I turn to her and place a comforting hand on her shoulder. We knew they would come for us eventually, my brave partner. We have a fortress, and we have the power of modern science. Let them send their greedy mercenaries and stupid knights. We will grind them into dust and use their armor for scrap. The projection changes and shows a new figure on the stage. It is a tall man wearing a dark cloak and a silver mask. Elara gasps loudly and steps back from the projected image. That is the Grand Inquisitor of the Royal Magic Academy. He is the most dangerous and powerful mage in the kingdom. He hunts down rogue magic users and tortures them to death. I look at the masked man and feel a cold chill in my spine. He holds up a small piece of broken metal to the huge crowd. It is a piece of the turret that the giant worm destroyed. He found my trash, and now he knows exactly what I can do. The Inquisitor points his finger right at my scout drone. He casts a sudden lightning spell and destroys the camera. The projection on the wall turns into static and goes dark. He knows we are watching, and he knows we are hiding below. I cross my arms and stare at the blank white stone wall. The game of hide and seek is officially over for us now. I open my system interface and check my current resources. We have 10 tons of pure iron and 5 tons of raw copper. We have a massive pile of green mana crystals for power. I look at Elara and give her a confident and deadly smile. It is time to build our first mechanical army of soldiers. I activate the advanced blueprint for the humanoid drone. This is going to be a very long and busy night for us both. I walk over to the massive forge we built near the river. The fire burns bright and hot, melting the heavy iron ore. I channel my mana into the liquid metal and shape the parts. I form thick steel bones and heavy joints for the soldiers. Elara brings me the refined copper wires for the fake veins. We work in perfect harmony like a well-oiled grand machine. She places a small green crystal in the chest of each unit. The crystal acts as a magical battery for the heavy robots. I close the steel chest plates and seal the inner workings. The first mechanical soldier stands up from the workbench. It is 7 feet tall and built like a heavy armored tank. Its face is a blank metal plate with a single glowing eye. It holds a massive iron sword and a heavy tower shield now. I command the robot to walk forward and test its heavy legs. It moves with surprising speed and perfect brutal precision. Elara claps her hands and laughs with pure genuine delight. We repeat the process and build 10 more of these monsters. Our small army stands in a neat row waiting for my orders. I feel a sudden vibration coming from the far tunnel wall. Someone is trying to break into our lower sewer entrance. The Inquisitor must have sent his elite scouts ahead of him. I turn to my mechanical soldiers and point toward the door. Defend the gate and kill any hostile intruders on sight. The heavy robots march down the dark tunnel in perfect sync. Their metal feet slam against the stone floor like thunder. Elara grabs her modified acid rifle and stands right by me. We follow the robots to watch the incoming brutal slaughter. The heavy vault door glows red hot and begins to melt down. A powerful fire mage is burning through our thick defenses. The metal door melts into a puddle of bright liquid slag. 10 elite assassins jump through the smoking hot opening. They wear black armor and carry sharp poisoned blades. They expect to find a weak boy hiding in the dark shadows. Instead, they face a wall of solid steel and glowing eyes. The lead assassin stops and stares at my robot soldiers. "What kind of golems are these?" he shouts to his dirty team. My robots do not hesitate or wait for any further commands. The front row raises their heavy tower shields and charges. They hit the assassins with the force of a fast, heavy train. Bones snap loudly as the men are crushed against the walls. One assassin tries to stab a robot in its thick metal chest. His poisoned dagger shatters into a dozen useless pieces. The robot swings its heavy iron sword and cuts him in half. Blood sprays across the tunnel and paints the cold walls. The remaining assassins panic and try to run away quickly. My robots throw heavy iron spears directly at their backs. The spears pin the running men to the dirty stone floor. The brief battle is over in less than 30 short seconds. None of the elite assassins managed to scratch my soldiers. Ilara lowers her acid rifle and smiles at the bloody mess. Your machines are completely unstoppable in a narrow hall. I nod and walk over to the pile of dead and broken bodies. I search the leader and find a glowing magical map crystal. I crush the crystal and absorb its weak magic data stream. The system translates the magic into a digital tactical map. The Inquisitor has surrounded our entire underground block. He brought 50 battle mages and 100 heavy knights. They are setting up magical artillery cannons above ground. They plan to collapse the entire cave system on our heads. I look at Ilara and show her the red dots on my visual map. We cannot stay here and wait for the roof to fall on us. We need to go on the offensive and break their weak siege. She nods and checks the acid clip in her heavy new rifle. I am ready to fight for our new empire, she says proudly. I command my 10 robots to form a tight defensive circle. I place my hands on the solid stone floor and focus my mind. I'm going to build a massive drill to break the surface. I drain half of my mana pool to extract tons of pure iron. A massive spinning cone of sharp steel forms right above us. I attach it to a heavy mechanical elevator platform base. Get on the platform, I tell Ilara as the drill spins up fast. We step onto the metal plate with our 10 robot soldiers. I push my remaining mana into the heavy copper power coils. The giant steel drill hits the ceiling and grinds the rock. Dust and small stones rain down on our heavy metal shields. The noise is incredibly loud and shakes my entire body now. We are carving a direct path straight up to the city square. The mages above will never expect an attack from below. I smile as the drill breaks through the final layer of dirt. Bright moonlight floods into the dark shaft we just dug. The drill platform rises into the center of the town square. Hundreds of shocked soldiers turn to look at our machine. The Grand Inquisitor stands on a wooden stage far away. He drops his magical staff in pure disbelief and terror. I step off the platform and draw my own heavy steel blade. My 10 robotic soldiers march forward and form a solid wall. Ilara aims her acid rifle at the closest group of knights. "You wanted a war, old man?" I shout across the silent square. "Welcome to the industrial revolution of this dying world." The Inquisitor recovers his shock and screams at his men. "Kill the demon and destroy his foul metal golems right now." 50 knights in heavy silver armor charge at my position. They hold their glowing lances out to pierce our defenses. I do not even flinch as the heavy cavalry rushes toward us. I slam my hands onto the cobblestone street beneath my feet. System override, activate maximum area of effect extraction. The stone street shatters as hundreds of steel spikes rise. The metal roots tear through the legs of the running horses. Knights scream as they are thrown from their dying mounts. The spikes grow taller and impale the falling heavy riders. Blood forms a massive red pool on the ruined stone street. The entire cavalry charge is broken in a single heartbeat. The mages on the backlines panic and cast large fireballs. A dozen flaming spheres fly through the dark night sky now. I command my robots to lock their heavy shields together. They form an impenetrable steel dome over Ilara and myself. The fireballs hit the metal dome and explode into hot ash. The heat is intense, but the thick steel does not melt at all. I drop the shield wall and order my soldiers to advance now. The robots march forward and crush the wounded knights. Ilara fires her rifle and hits a mage in his chest plate. The acid eats through his magical shield and melts his skin. He screams in agony as he dissolves into a green puddle. The Inquisitor watches his entire army fall apart in panic. He realizes that my metal magic is superior to his spells. He points his golden staff at me and begins a master spell. The air around him hums with pure destructive dark energy. A massive black hole forms right above his arrogant head. He is trying to summon a void demon to swallow me whole. I will not let him finish his stupid and slow incantation. I raise my right hand and point my finger at his chest. I focus on the tiny iron particles floating in his blood. I cannot control living tissue, but I can control the iron. I violently pull the iron out of his weak human blood flow. The Inquisitor chokes and drops his golden magic staff. He falls to his knees and grabs his chest in pure agony. The black hole above him collapses and fades into nothing. He looks at me with wide eyes full of absolute true terror. "You are a monster," he whispers as blood drips from his lips. I walk over to him and look down at his pathetic weak form. "I am the future, and you are just a relic of a dead past." I raise my steel blade to end his miserable little life. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the far side of the town. A giant dragon made of pure blue fire lands on the roofs. It is the High Fire Lord himself entering the main battle. He looks at Ilara and roars with impossible burning rage. I step in front of her and raise my heavy steel sword high. The real war for this magic world has only just begun now. The heat from the blue fire dragon melts the stone streets. My iron sense aura warns me of the massive thermal spike. The High Lord is a level 50 master of the flame arts. I am only level 4, and my mana is almost completely gone. I cannot fight a god of fire in my current weakened state. Ilara grabs my arm and pulls me back toward the drill hole. We have to retreat right now, or we will burn into fine ash. She is right, and I hate running from this arrogant enemy. I command my 10 robot soldiers to form a heavy barricade. They stand between us and the massive burning blue dragon. Hold the line and buy us some time to escape underground. The robots lock their shields and brace for the fire blast. The High Lord points his glowing hand at my brave machines. A wave of pure blue plasma washes over the entire square. The thick steel armor of my robots begins to melt instantly. They do not scream or retreat as they melt into liquid slag. They did their duty and saved us from the hot, deadly fire. I jump down the dark drill shaft and pull Ilara with me. We land hard on the heavy metal elevator platform below. I smash the control panel to break the lifting mechanism. The platform drops like a heavy stone into the deep dark. We fall for 10 seconds before the emergency brakes engage. Sparks fly as the heavy clamps grind against the stone. We hit the bottom of the shaft with a bone-rattling thud. I quickly seal the tunnel above us with a thick iron cap. The blue fire from the dragon washes over the metal seal. The iron glows bright red, but it holds the flames back now. We are safe in the dark underground for a little while. Ilara leans against the cold wall and breathes very heavily. That was my father, and he is going to hunt us forever now. He will never stop until you are dead, and I am in chains. I walk over to her and wipe the dirt from her pale cheek. He is strong, but his power is limited by his human body. My machines have no limits and they feel absolutely no pain. We lost our first base, but we learned their true strength. We will go deeper into the ancient ruins below the city. I will build a massive factory that runs on endless magma. I will create an army of 1,000,000 heavy steel soldiers. The High Lord will drown in an ocean of cold, sharp iron. Ilara looks into my eyes and nods with fierce determination. I believe in you and your beautiful mechanical mind, Kale. We leave the ruined elevator and walk into the deep caves. The air grows warmer as we descend closer to the deep core. My system interface chimes with a new and exciting message. Host has survived an encounter with an overleveled enemy. Emergency experience bonus granted for tactical retreat. Host has reached level 5 in the Techno Druid core path. New blueprint unlocked for automated drone factory hub. I smile in the dark as I read the glowing blue text words. This is exactly what I need to start mass production now. A factory hub will let me build units without using mana. It will use raw materials and crystal energy to print mechs. I will become a literal, walking industrial revolution soon. We walk for hours until we find a massive underground lake. The water is warm and glows with a strange blue light now. Ancient dwarven pillars hold up the massive stone ceiling. This place has been abandoned for thousands of long years. It is the perfect spot to build my new grand metal capital. I sit down by the glowing water and open my status screen. I assign my new skill points to heavy metal manipulation. I can now control the density and weight of my creations. I can make steel as light as a feather or heavy as a star. Ilara takes off her boots and dips her feet in the water. This water is full of rich healing minerals, she tells me. It will help wash away the acid burns and the deep fatigue. I take off my ruined shirt and step into the warm blue lake. The water soothes my aching muscles and tired human bones. I close my eyes and let my mind wander to my grand designs. I see cities of chrome rising from the dirt of this world. I see flying gunships blocking out their stupid bright sun. I see the mages bowing down to the absolute power of logic. My past life was a cage, but this world is my open canvas. I will paint it with the blood of my arrogant old enemies. Ilara swims over to me and rests her head on my shoulder. We are going to change the entire world together, my druid. I wrap my arm around her and look at the ancient dark cave. Yes, we are, and nothing will ever stop our metal march now. I pull a piece of raw iron from the bottom of the deep lake. I shape it into a small and perfect mechanical lotus flower. I hand the metal flower to my beautiful and smart partner. She smiles and pins it to her wet silver hair with a clip. The battle is paused, but the real grand war is coming soon. The High Lord will search every inch of this ruined city. He will bring the full might of the royal magic army here. I need to build the factory hub before they find this lake. I step out of the water and dry off with my torn old shirt. I walk over to the largest ancient dwarven stone pillar. I place my hands on the rock and activate the new blueprint. The earth shakes as I drain the iron from the deep bedrock. Massive steel gears and heavy copper pipes push outward. A huge industrial complex begins to grow inside the cave. Smokestacks rise up and connect to the ceiling vents now. Conveyor belts form on the ground to move heavy materials. The factory hub powers up with a deafening mechanical roar. The age of magic is officially dead, and I am the murderer. I watch the massive gears turn with perfect smooth motion. The automated factory is a beautiful miracle of my science. I programmed the central console to build basic worker drones. We need thousands of tiny spiders to mine the deep tunnels. The factory drops a fresh metal spider every single second. A silver river of tiny robots flows out of the main doors. They scatter into the dark caves to find raw iron and gold. Ilara sits by the glowing lake and writes in her old book. She is designing new armor plates for our heavy mech suits. I walk over to the central command terminal of the factory. I access the visual feeds from my surviving scout drones. One drone is hiding near the ruined town square far above. The screen shows the High Fire Lord yelling at his knights. He is furious that I escaped his deadly blue plasma breath. He orders his men to dig up the entire street with shovels. They are looking for the tunnel we used to escape his trap. I laugh at their primitive and stupid little digging tools. It will take them weeks to reach our deep underground lake. By the time they get here, I will have a full robot army. I switch the camera feed to the Royal Magic Academy gates. The Grand Inquisitor is walking into the main Grand Hall. He looks pale and weak from the blood iron extraction trick. He is holding a secret meeting with the High Magic Council. They are finally starting to realize the true grave danger. A single boy with strange magic just destroyed their elite. They will probably declare a holy crusade against me soon. I welcome their hatred because it gives me a clear target. I close the video feed and focus on my own heavy grand work. I need to build a heavy mech suit for my own direct combat. My body is strong, but it is still made of soft, weak flesh. I need a shell of pure tungsten to protect my vital organs. I open the basic heavy exoskeleton blueprint on my screen. It requires a massive amount of rare metals and pure mana. My worker spiders are already finding the rare deep ores. I just need to wait for the factory to process the metals. I walk back to Ilara and sit beside her near the blue lake. She shows me her notebook filled with complex magic runes. I can enchant your mech suit to resist extreme high heat. My father will not be able to melt you with his blue fire. I kiss her soft cheek and praise her brilliant sharp mind. We are the ultimate fusion of cold science and wild magic. The world above is sleeping in ignorant and foolish bliss. They do not know that a metal god is growing in the dark. I close my eyes and listen to the rhythmic factory sounds. Every clink of metal is a nail in the coffin of the mages. I am Kale the Techno Druid, and I will conquer everything. The factory produces 100 new spider drones every hour. They strip the ancient dwarven ruins of all usable metals. I find old gold coins and melt them into conductive wires. Gold is useless for buying bread but perfect for circuits. I build a massive radar dish to scan the surface far above. I can track the movements of the royal army in real time. They are setting up a permanent camp right over our heads. They think they have trapped a wild rat in a deep dark hole. They do not realize they are sitting on an active volcano. When I am ready, I will erupt and bury them all in hot steel. I smile and let the cold logic of my system guide my path. The night is long, but the dawn of the machine is very near. I watch the massive gears turn with perfect precision. The glowing blue text floats in my dark field of view. I check the factory output on my main digital display. We have enough tungsten to build my heavy combat suit. Ilara walks over and hands me a cold cup of fresh water. I drink the water and thank my brilliant smart partner. The royal army is still digging through the thick rock. They are slow and stupid with their old magic shovels. I step toward the massive forge burning bright and hot. The liquid tungsten glows with a blinding white light. I place my bare hands near the extreme magical heat now. My system interface chimes with a loud and clear sound. Blueprint for the heavy tungsten mech suit is ready now. I push my mana into the floating pool of liquid metal. The heavy liquid steel begins to take a human shape now. Thick armor plates form in the hot, glowing orange air. Heavy hydraulic joints snap together with a loud clink. I design the chest cavity to hold my fragile human body. Ilara steps forward with a glowing green mana crystal. She carefully places it into the open mechanical chest. The factory hums as copper wires connect to the power. I command the heavy metal shell to open its front hatch. The thick tungsten plates slide back with a heavy hiss. I step inside the cold and dark mechanical empty shell. The metal closes around me and locks tight in the dark. Neural link established with the Techno Druid core mind. I open my eyes and see the world through digital optics. My vision is painted with tactical data and red targets. I flex my new metal fingers and feel absolute pure power. This suit multiplies my physical strength by 1,000. I can crush solid stone into fine dust with one hand. Ilara climbs onto a heavy metal box to reach my helmet. She holds a small carving tool made of pure, sharp gold. She begins to carve ancient magic runes into my armor. The runes glow with a soft and cooling bright blue light. This magic will protect my metal from extreme high heat. The High Lord cannot melt me with his stupid blue fire. I step out of the forge and test my heavy metal weight. The stone floor cracks slightly under my massive boots. I walk toward the deep lake and look at my reflection. I look like a terrifying demon made of pure dark steel. My single red optic eye glows in the dark underground. I am exactly what this dying magic world truly needs now. My scout drones send a sudden alert to my main display. The royal army has finally broken through the ceiling. They found the upper cavern just above our hidden lake. I zoom in on the video feed and see the falling rocks. A massive hole opens up in the dark stone roof above us. Bright, magical light floods into the dark upper cavern. I see a floating wooden platform descending very slowly. Fat young Master Vayne is standing on the wooden stage. He is wearing shiny gold armor that looks totally fake. He holds a massive glowing crystal in his right hand now. 50 elite royal knights stand right behind the noble. They carry heavy steel shields and sharp glowing swords. Vayne looks down into the dark abyss with a stupid smile. He thinks he has cornered a helpless rat in a deep trap. I analyze the glowing crystal in his fat right hand now. It is a rare communication stone used for broadcasting. He is projecting this entire raid to the city square. He wants the whole kingdom to watch him kill the demon. He wants to restore his broken and pathetic family honor. I smile inside my dark helmet and prepare a grand show. If he wants an audience, I will give them a true spectacle. I command my factory to stop producing worker spiders now. I switch the production line to heavy combat turrets now. I need to prepare the battlefield for my absolute victory. I raise my heavy metal hands and focus my druid magic. I command the iron in the cavern walls to shift and bend. Massive steel pillars rise from the cold, hard stone floor. I am building a grand coliseum for our little deadly game. The arena is perfectly circular and surrounded by spikes. Ilara watches me shape the earth with wide, amazed eyes. "You are turning this cave into a brutal execution block," she whispers softly as the metal spikes lock into place. I nod my heavy metal head and draw my giant steel sword. I am going to show the whole city that magic is useless. I connect my system interface to his broadcasting stone. I hack into their magical frequency using pure cold logic. I can now see exactly what the city crowd is watching now. They see Vayne looking brave and heroic on his platform. The crowd is cheering for the fat noble in the bright sun. I will turn their cheers into screams of absolute terror. The wooden platform lands softly on my steel arena floor. Vayne steps forward and raises his magic staff up high. "Come out and face your death, you dirty little slave rat." His voice echoes through the cavern and the city square. The 50 knights draw their swords and form a tight wall. I step out from the dark shadows of the ancient pillars. My heavy tungsten boots slam against the solid metal floor. The loud mechanical thud silences the arrogant young noble. He stares at my massive, terrifying dark metal heavy suit. His fat face turns completely pale with sudden deep fear. He expected to find a weak boy hiding in the wet, cold mud. He did not expect to face a 10-foot-tall walking tank. "What kind of dark magic is this?" he screams in pure panic. The broadcast crystal captures his pathetic, shaking voice. The crowd in the city square goes completely silent now. I activate my external vocal speakers to amplify my voice. "This is not magic, you stupid and arrogant little fat pig. This is the unstoppable power of true modern engineering." My mechanical voice booms like heavy thunder in the cave. Vayne points his staff at me and begins to chant a spell. He fires a massive ball of solid rock directly at my head. I do not dodge or raise my heavy shield to block the rock. The giant stone hits my helmet and shatters into dust. I do not even feel the kinetic impact of his weak attack. My armor is completely immune to such pathetic low magic. Vayne gasps and takes a slow step backward in total shock. "Kill him right now," he yells at his elite royal knights. The 50 armored men charge at me with a loud battle cry. I slam my heavy metal fist directly into the solid floor. System activate the localized magnetic disruption field. A massive pulse of blue electric energy sweeps the room. The knights are wearing suits made of heavy iron plates. My magnetic field grabs their armor with absolute power. The 50 men freeze in place like stupid metal statues. They cannot move their arms or legs no matter how hard. They are completely trapped inside their own heavy armor. I slowly walk toward the frozen knights and the fat noble. Vayne drops his magic staff and tries to run away fast. He runs toward the wooden platform to escape my deep trap. I raise my right hand and shoot a thick steel cable out. The metal wire wraps tightly around his fat right ankle. He falls flat on his face and screams in terrible pain. I slowly drag him back across the cold, hard metal floor. He claws at the ground, but he cannot stop my heavy pull. The broadcast crystal hovers nearby and records everything. The entire city is watching their noble hero cry loudly. I pull him right up to my massive heavy tungsten boots. I look down at his pathetic bleeding and dirty fat face. "Please do not hurt me," he begs with tears in his ugly eyes. "I will give you anything you want. Just let me live today. I crouch down and grab his silk shirt with my metal hand. I lift him up into the air until he is eye level with me. You told the city that you were a brave monster hunter. You promised them that you would bring my head on a spike. Now look at you crying and begging a slave for some mercy. I squeeze his chest slightly and hear his ribs groaning. He wets his fancy silk pants in pure and absolute terror. A dark puddle drips down onto my clean steel arena floor. I turn his body so the floating crystal can see his shame. Look closely at your noble masters, you blind, stupid fools. They are nothing but weak cowards hiding behind old titles. They have absolutely no real power in this changing world. I toss Vayne onto the ground like a bag of useless garbage. He curls into a pathetic ball and sobs loudly in the dark. I turn my focus to the 50 frozen elite royal knights. They are watching me with wide eyes full of absolute dread. Your armor belongs to me now, I tell the trapped, scared men. I activate my extraction skill and drain their solid iron. The heavy steel plates melt right off their shaking bodies. The liquid metal flows across the floor and forms a sphere. The knights are left standing in their simple white shirts. They shiver in the cold cave air and look totally helpless. I have stripped them of their pride and all their weapons. Run back to your king and tell him exactly what happened. Tell him the Techno Druid claims this entire underground. Tell him to send his entire army if he wants to die today. I release the magnetic field and let the scared men go now. They do not hesitate for a single second in the dark cave. They run toward the wooden platform in total blind panic. They leave their crying, fat, noble leader lying in the dirt. The platform slowly rises back up into the dark upper hole. I watch them flee and feel a massive surge of pure victory. The system interface chimes with a bright golden text box. Massive social dominance achieved over a key enemy faction. Public humiliation of a noble target grants bonus rewards. Host has reached level 6 in the main Techno Druid path. New active skill unlocked called Heavy Seismic Disruption. I dismiss the blue text and look at the floating crystal. The broadcast is still transmitting to the shocked city. I crush the magic stone in my heavy and cold steel hand. The video feed cuts to black, and the cave is totally quiet. Ilara walks out from the shadows and smiles very brightly. That was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, Kale. You completely broke their spirit without killing anyone. I open my heavy faceplate and breathe the cold cave air. Death is too simple for arrogant pigs like Master Vayne. I want them to live with the shame of their public defeat. I want the common people to know that the nobles can bleed. I look down at Vayne, who is still sobbing in his wet pants. What should we do with this pathetic piece of human trash? Ilara looks at him with a cold and calculating sharp stare. We keep him alive as a hostage to delay my angry father. He's a useless coward, but his family has immense wealth. We can force them to send us rare materials for his life. I nod and command a worker drone to drag him to a cell. The metal spider grabs his collar and pulls him far away. We have won a massive psychological battle today, my queen, but the Grand Inquisitor will not surrender so easily now. He will use this broadcast to unite the High Magic Council. They will stop treating me like a simple rogue slave boy. They will treat me like a true existential global threat. I walk over to the massive sphere of stolen iron and steel. I absorb the pure metal into my deep underground factory. The machines roar to life and begin processing the new ore. We need to expand our defenses before they send heavy guns. I activate my new seismic skill to test its absolute power. I send a pulse of kinetic energy deep into the solid rock. The entire cavern shakes violently for a few short seconds. I can use this to collapse tunnels if they dig much deeper. Ilara walks to the glowing blue lake and washes her face. We have a few hours before they launch their next attack. You should rest and let the factory build our new army now. I close my faceplate and shake my heavy metal head slowly. Machines do not need sleep, and neither does a Techno Druid. I walk toward the main control terminal of my grand factory. I need to design a weapon that can kill a blue fire dragon. The High Lord will return, and he will burn the whole city. He will destroy his own people just to reach my underground. I open the advanced blueprint menu and scroll the long list. I see a design for a heavy anti-air tracking missile system. It requires a massive amount of refined copper and gold. My worker spiders have found a rich vein of gold far below. I send 1,000 tiny drones to mine the precious metal. The factory belts move faster as raw materials pour inside. I stand in the center of my growing mechanical dark empire. The air smells like hot oil and melted heavy iron ore now. It is the sweet perfume of absolute and total pure progress. Suddenly, a massive alarm blares from my early warning radar. Red lights flash across the dark walls of the ancient cave. I run to the screen and check the deep seismic sensor data. Something huge is moving through the rock directly below us. It is not coming from the city above or the royal army camp. It is coming from the darkest depths of the planetary core. Ilara grabs her acid rifle and runs to my side very quickly. What is causing that massive thermal spike on the screen? She asks with a tone of pure worry in her soft, sweet voice. I analyze the reading and feel a chill in my human spine. The temperature of the incoming object is off the charts. It is hotter than the blue fire of the angry High Lord now. The ground beneath our heavy boots begins to shake terribly. The glowing blue lake boils and turns into thick, hot steam. The Grand Inquisitor did not just run away to the council. He used his dark magic to awaken an ancient sleeping titan. He wants to erase this entire cavern from the world map now. I command my factory to deploy all available combat drones. 500 heavy steel robots march out of the open doors. They form a massive shield wall around the boiling hot lake. I draw my giant sword and stand at the front of the army. The stone floor cracks open and bright orange magma sprays. A giant hand made of molten rock reaches out of the pit. The extreme heat makes my external sensors begin to fail. Ilara casts a powerful cooling spell on my heavy mech suit. The blue runes glow brightly and push the deadly heat away. A head of burning stone rises from the hot red lava pool. It has two glowing yellow eyes that stare directly at me. It is a magma elemental from the deepest core of the earth. The royal mages sacrificed hundreds of slaves to summon it. They are willing to destroy the world just to kill one boy. The giant elemental roars and the sound shatters the rocks. I grip my sword and prepare for the ultimate brutal battle. My automated factory continues to print new robot soldiers. I will feed this burning monster an endless diet of steel. I am the Techno Druid and I do not fear the fire of earth. I will turn this magma titan into raw power for my machines. The monster raises its massive burning fist high in the air. It slams its hand down toward my brilliant partner Ilara. I engage my hydraulic thrusters and leap across the cavern. I intercept the massive burning fist with my metal body. The impact shakes my teeth and rattles my human soft bones. But the tungsten armor holds strong against the heavy blow. I push back against the titan with pure mechanical power. The real test of my new grand empire begins right here now. I lock my hydraulic joints and hold the burning giant fist. The heat tries to cook me alive inside my heavy metal shell. Ilara channels more of her blue magic into my glowing runes. The cooling spell fights a brutal war against the raw magma. I activate my heavy seismic disruption skill at point blank. I send the kinetic pulse directly up the arm of the monster. The solid rock covering its fiery bones shatters completely. Chunks of burning stone rain down on my heavy robot army. The titan roars in pure agony and pulls its heavy arm back. I drop back to the solid floor and leave deep footprints. Target the exposed joints of the enemy, I yell to my drones. 500 heavy steel robots raise their kinetic rifles. They fire a massive volley of solid iron slugs at the beast. The iron bullets hit the glowing magma and explode loudly. The kinetic force staggers the giant back to the lava pit. It thrashes wildly and crushes 10 of my robots instantly. Their metal bodies melt into the burning pool of deep magma. My factory prints 10 more robots to replace the dead ones. This is a war of absolute attrition, and I have endless ammo. I command my worker spiders to gather the broken hot rocks. The titan is made of rare magical ores forged in the core. I will harvest its body while it is still actively fighting. The tiny metal spiders swarm over the fallen burning stones. They drag the heavy magical ore back to my processing belts. The factory grinds the titan pieces into pure, clean energy. My system interface chimes with a rapid series of alerts. Extreme high-tier magical material detected in the factory. Core power output increased by 300 total %. New blueprint unlocked for thermal energy absorption shield. I smile inside my helmet and activate the new shield design. A glowing red energy bubble forms around my heavy mech suit. The shield absorbs the heat and charges my core batteries. The hotter the cavern gets, the stronger my machines become. The Grand Inquisitor made a terrible tactical mistake today. He sent me the exact power source I needed to defeat him. The heat inside the cavern is melting the solid stone. My heavy metal boots sink slightly into the soft, hot floor. I redirect all auxiliary power to my front thermal shields. The magma elemental swings its burning tail like a hot whip. I duck under the attack and hear the air catch on fire now. My targeting computer calculates the exact center of mass. There is a solid core of pure magic hidden in its chest. If I shatter that core, the beast will turn into dead rock. I wait for the perfect moment when it raises its giant arms. The glowing core is exposed for a fraction of a second. I fire my heavy shoulder-mounted kinetic missiles right now. 2 steel rockets fly through the air and hit the core. The explosion cracks the magical crystal into 50 pieces. I raise my heavy steel sword and charge right at the beast. The magma titan spits a massive stream of pure liquid fire. The thermal shield absorbs the flames and glows pure white. My system power levels reach absolute maximum capacity fast. I jump high into the air using my charged leg thrusters. I fly directly over the massive burning head of the monster. I bring my heavy tungsten sword down with all my strength. The blade slices through the solid rock skull of the titan. A geyser of bright orange magma erupts from the deep wound. The monster screams a sound that shakes the entire mountain. It falls backward and crashes into the boiling hot lava pit. The ground trembles as the massive body sinks into the deep. I land safely on the edge of the pit and watch it burn away. System interface chimes with a massive golden victory text. Legendary Elemental Titan defeated in direct heavy combat. Host has reached level 7 in the main Techno Druid path. Ultimate active skill unlocked, called Heavy Core Extraction. I breathe a sigh of deep relief and open my faceplate now. The cavern is still incredibly hot, but the danger is gone. Ilara runs over to me and hugs my massive heavy metal leg. "You are a literal god of war," she whispers in pure deep awe. I step out of the heavy mech suit and stretch my real arms. I am not a god, I am just a very good engineer with a plan. I look down into the bubbling pit of bright orange hot lava. My new extraction skill lets me mine the deep burning core. I can pull infinite thermal energy directly from the planet. We will never run out of power for our massive robot army. I turn to my factory and check the main digital screen now. The worker drones have finished processing the Titan rocks. We now have enough rare magic metal to build a flying ship. The Inquisitor thought he could bury us in this deep pit. Instead, he gave me the tools to build a massive air force. I look at Ilara and see the brilliant fire in her blue eyes. It is time to take our war to the skies above their city. We will build a heavy flying fortress made of pure steel. The age of magic is burning to ash in my heavy hot forge. The dawn of the machine empire rises from the deep dark. I walk over to the small iron cell holding the crying Vayne. He is curled up in the corner and shivering in the cold. I stare at him through the thick steel bars of his cage. "Tell me everything you know about the Grand Inquisitor now." Vayne looks up at me with pale and completely terrified eyes. He is a monster who tortures people in the royal dungeons. He controls the king with dark magic and terrible fear. He has a secret weapon hidden in the Grand Magic Academy. What kind of weapon, I ask in a cold and dead machine voice. It is an ancient artifact from the first Great Demon War. It can wipe out an entire city with a single beam of light. He plans to use it on your underground base very soon now. I process this new information and calculate my next move. We do not have weeks to build our flying steel fortress. We have exactly 12 hours before they nuke this cavern. I leave the crying noble and run back to the main factory. Ilara follows me and asks what the fat coward just told me. They have a weapon of mass destruction aimed at our heads. We need to build a rapid assault ship and strike them now. I open the master console and delete all the build queues. I load the blueprint for a heavy armored stealth gunship. It will use the anti-gravity runes from your magic notebook. Ilara nods quickly and grabs her carving tools from a desk. The factory roars as it shifts gears for the huge project. Tons of titanium and magic ore flow into the burning forge. I push my druid magic to its absolute limit tonight now. The skeletal frame of the gunship forms in the large cave. It looks like a giant steel predator waiting in the dark. We work without stopping for 10 grueling and hard hours. My fingers bleed, but the system heals them very instantly. Ilara carves thousands of glowing runes into the dark hull. The ship is invisible to all known magical tracking radars. It is armed with twin heavy railguns and smart bomb drops. I step into the cockpit and sit in the leather pilot seat. The digital screens light up with a soft and pleasing glow. All systems are green and the core reactor is fully stable. Ilara sits in the co-pilot seat and straps herself in now. We are going to fly right into the Grand Magic Academy now. We are going to steal their ultimate weapon for our empire. I grab the flight stick and activate the anti-gravity runes. The massive steel ship lifts off the ground with no sound. We float toward the dark hole in the ceiling of the cavern. The dawn is breaking outside and the sky is painted red. It is the perfect color for the bloody war we are starting. I push the throttle forward and the gunship shoots up fast. We burst out of the underground and fly into the clear sky. The city below looks so small and pathetic from up here. The people point at the sky and scream at the dark monster. The wind screams past the heavy metal hull of my gunship.